So let's go back in time, back to that little scene that we were talking about in the last half of the review. And we go to the Akira arc. So instead of what happened there as Kazuha chases down Haruka and tells him about this whole thing, Haruka tries to get the information out of Akira. He goes to confront her, and Akira, instead of giving him any useful information, basically gives him the idea that she's lost this pendant that her mother gave her. So they go and look for it because Haruka's a nice dude or whatever, and they can't find it. I can't find it. A landslide covered this park where she believes she left it, and there's no way they end up finding it. So then Akira basically thanks Haruka in this weird, kind of awkward-ish romantic moment that they have at Akira's house. And he finds out that Akira is distraught over the fact that Kazuha and Akira have possibly been mistaken for each other. Basically, they believe that they've been switched somehow, which is fucking ridiculous because the differences in ages alone, like they're not twins. So the fact that they are different ages should mean that there's no way they could possibly switch it. Not to mention they had different mothers. So this whole thing is completely ridiculous. But apparently, they could have just appeared out of the wrong mother, and now they might have mistaken identities. So obviously, they get some sort of DNA test, and Haruka, tries to convince Akira, and Akira eventually agrees, and as well as Kazuha, to get this DNA test. And things get super overdramatic as the fifth day comes along, the results get back here, and Akira runs away. Because, you've been waiting for this for so long, obviously you get absolutely crazy and you run away. So Akira runs away, and then we get this over-dramatic reveal that actually they're not mistaken identities, everything's just fine. Then this chick comes along and gives her pendant back and says, oh, your mom's been dead for years, so here you go. And immediately after all of this bombshell on Akira, obviously what you do is you confess your love for Haruka, and that kind of ends it there. Now, I haven't watched this show for a while, to be honest with you. I did not rewatch it because I'm not going to. But I don't remember. I don't believe that. I think this is the one story where he doesn't actually pork the chick. But I couldn't tell you for 100% fact. I know the stories. These are all from memory. But I don't believe that she did. Then we move on to the episode 7, which is basically where the next half of the show is going to be taking place. We go all the way back when Sora, when she was fucking naked right on top of her brother, because that's how you tell people important information. And basically, they talk about how now it believes that Haruka likes her, or has been told that Haruka likes her. So, then there's this misunderstanding. However, obviously, this misunderstanding turns into the real deal, but because, fuck logic and stuff. But apparently, we get a flashback to when she was younger, and she basically raped the main character. Fuck if I know. When you're a kid, you do some crazy shit, I guess. But whatever. So apparently, not only that, but Haruka is never mad about it. And so basically, we head down the Now arc from there, and we will come back to this exact spot where Now is kind of developing this thing for the main character, and we get this scene where Sora is just absolutely in disdain for now because she apparently witnessed the moment, I believe. But so basically, the fucking weirdest thing happens is they try to make up, and then Sora walks down down the stairs. She smells food, and she's like really hungry. So she, obviously, you'd go down to the kitchen to see what's cooking. And she finds Now and Haruka porking right in the middle of their living room because, another person home might as well do it right then and there. So what happens is Sora throws Now out of the house. Like, legit just tosses her out, dumps all the curry or whatever food's cooking down the drain, and causes this huge problem with Now, as Now very easily brought to tears, I guess. Very emotional character. And it basically goes down the road where Sora freaks Now out. Now has to slowly rekindle the relationship with Haruka. And then they go to the beach, right? And Sora doesn't want to go to the beach because Now's going to be there. Fuck that shit. But then she follows them to the beach, obviously, afterwards to spy on them. And she finds out that her brother nearly drowned and that Now saved his life. But of course, by doing that, they did mouth to mouth, and now Sora's pissed off as all hell. So she runs away. Because everybody in the show has just absolute logic. Just like, oh my god, she saved my brother from drowning and had to do mouth to mouth, so obviously I'm going to run away and freak everybody out. So they have to go and find her. And Sora's at a bus stop. She's going to run away, and the bus stop gets struck by lightning and catches fire. Because you can't make it any more dramatic. And basically her stuffed bunny is inside there that she carries around all the time, and so Now goes and saves it. And then they have this amazing scene, as you can't catch the sarcasm, where, Now and Sora make up, and, oh, it's okay, you just fucked my brother, and I caught you twice doing it, so, whatever. But then we move on to the Sora arc. Now, the full incestual arc, because, whatever. And by the way, this is just full on. Like, this isn't Oriemo style incest is wincest. This is like crazy shit. So we go back to the end of episode 7, where Haruka is trying to rekindle his relationship with Sora as brother and sister. Basically, he's just like, Sora's been acting really pissed off lately, especially because Now is coming on to him hardcore. Not only that, but Nora and him are technically in a relationship by the end of episode 7. So he goes on this date, and Haruka keeps getting these visions and keeps thinking about his twin sister and how she's really depressed and whatnot. And by the time he comes home, Sora is really super ill, has a crazy high fever. And obviously, when you have crazy high fevers, you say random shit, all of it obviously truthful. So Sora confesses that she's in love with her brother, Haruka, right in front of him. And this arc murdered everything. Like, I hated the show already, but this just made it the second worst show I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen School Days, bro. I've seen School Days. That shit's stupid. But this is worse. Which is saying something. So, basically, obviously, you and your sister, you love each other, and so you pork right in front of the door, right in front of the opening door to your house. And by the way, not a lot of doors lock in the styles of houses in the villages of anime Japan. I've never actually been to Japan, so I can't say for certain whether it's not all Japan, but definitely in anime Japan, there's no locked doors. So basically, their friends find something that of theirs, and they go to return it, and they knock on the door, and they hear some sounds coming from inside. So obviously, they get worried. They open the door, and right in front of the door, they get to see, just absolutely firsthand, this absolute stupidity that this show is. And so they run away screaming, much like my reaction to this show. And, well, it just gets, you just think that it won't get any more dramatic. But they've been found out. Haruka tries to explain himself. He breaks up with Now. Well, more likely Now breaks up with him, and they have this whole falling out. And then Sora ends up running away because they've found out that there's no money left. Their parents had no money left, and so they have to move with their relatives, meaning they would have to split up because of whatever fucking logic it is. Apparently they only have enough money to take care of one or something. Some bullshit explanation for why they have to split up. So obviously you do the logical thing, and if you get split up with your brother, you commit suicide. So that's what Sora attempted to do, which then failed because of Haruka. And they run away together, and the end. We have no idea what happens after that, but boom, end of story. And that's a very brief synopsis of what happened in this show, which is, take my word for it. If you're gonna watch it, because I mean, it's just one of those things that are implied. It's not like a hentai or anything. They're just kind of implied sex scenes. Just hell, if you're gonna watch it, if you think it's funny, do it because it's hilarious. If you think of it as being absolutely stupid, which it is. But if you're one of those people who want to watch a good show and not just laugh at the stupidity of how moronic the show is, then by all means, this is not the show for you. But I'm gonna have one more little thing, final thoughts, recommendations, and a couple of other things that I want to touch on before the end of this video. So we're going to move on to a part 3 for this review, and I cannot wait until I get a fucking phone so that I won't have to split these into 3 parts and I can just do it all at once. But I have to have a phone, which is the fucking most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my life. I'm not bitter about the fact that I have to have a phone to do anything on YouTube, but move on to part 3 if you want to, please.